Welcome, this is the Winco KC301 Cleaver. I've had this product for about 2 or 3 years now, and it works just as well today as the day I got it. Truly impressive. This does not look like it's 2 years old. It holds up so well over time. It's an item that I'm very much impressed with. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 4 aspects. First, I'm going to give you an overview of what this product is. We'll take measurements, we'll measure its weight. Afterwards, we'll talk about functionality. Then we'll talk about fit and finish. And finally, we'll talk about value. First of all, this is not a Chinese cleaver, and it's not going to work like a Chinese cleaver. If you're looking for something that's going to stay closer to your cutting board, you want to go with something lighter. This is a meat cleaver. It's solid enough, tough enough to chop through bones. That's what it's for. Let's take some measurements. We can see that the cutting blade is about 8 inches long, and the cleaver has an overall length of about 13 inches. The handle measures in at just about 5 inches. We're going to take our scale over here, and this is a heavy cleaver. This one is not light at all, and that's really by design. We can see it measures in at 441 grams. Definitely heavy weight, and that's a weight that you're going to need for chopping through tougher bones and meats. The balancing point of this cleaver is right about here on the Winco emblem. The balancing point on a cleaver is not that important. You're going to be holding it at the handle most of the time, and you're going to be swinging it to build up the momentum. You can see that it has a little hole over here. This is very useful in case you want to store it on a hook. You can also store this on a magnetic bar for easy access if you use it frequently. Now when you use this item, you're going to want a solid, thick chopping block. The cutting board you see over here, it's going to be too thin for it. It could crack. If you use a plastic cutting board, make sure it's a thick one. Something like this would be ideal. A large, thick wood block would be perfect for this cleaver. Don't use this item directly on your countertop. Don't use it on your granite countertop, vinyl countertop. You'll either damage this item or you'll damage your countertop. Now when you're working with this cleaver here, the Winco KC301, you gotta make sure you have a nice solid platform on which to chop. Something that's not gonna move out of the way. And if you have a countertop, you don't want to destroy your countertop, so make sure you have either some newspaper or something under it to give it lots and lots of support. We're gonna prep our chicken here first by cutting through the tissue. And I know I want to aim for right over here to give it a nice solid cut. If you're using the cleaver for the first time, it helps if you just practice raising it and lowering it right at the point in which you want to strike. And then just bring it like that. As you can see, we did it in one motion. The chicken's nice split apart. And this looks great. We have one other task here, which is separating our neck from the backbone. Now, I'm not going to keep the backbone because there's really not a lot of meat on it. It's not that useful. So I want to split it right at this point. Now, just as before, I want to do it in one motion. You can see that was a breeze. Cut right through it, and I can discard this piece and get this one prepared. You can see right away this has a thick, solid blade. Look at the thickness of this metal. Look at this. It's very impressive. You can see that the thickness of the blade stays consistent throughout up until about ½ an inch from the bottom, where you can see it starts to get ground down to a point. And finally, over here at the end, where the edge begins, you have sharper angle grind. After 2 years, there's no rust or stains. Everything looks brand new. It holds up remarkably well. The handle, you don't see any damage on the handle. You don't see any stains on the handle. All the rivets are still intact. and everything looks just like the way it came out of the box. You would not expect this to be 2 years old. The other thing I noticed with this cleaver, the edge. It's difficult to see on camera, but you can see that the edge is smooth. There are no chips in the edge. And I have processed a lot of meats with this. I've worked with chickens, turkeys, lamb, ducks, rabbits. I've lost count of how many different types of meats I've worked with. I've chopped through countless bones with this. There's no chip whatsoever in the blade edge. This cleaver is ready to use out of the box. It's sharpened to about a 30-degree angle on each side, which seems a little bit steep. But for a cleaver, it's perfectly fine. You wouldn't want this for a knife, but the wider angle gives you a little bit more durability for those tasks where you're chopping through bones, tendons. You're putting a lot more stress on the blade, and for that you want that wider angle. When you sharpen this, I would keep it just as it is at 30 degrees on each side. I would not deviate from that. You can see that out of the box, there are no scratches. The handle was in good shape. As you can see, the edge profile is a little bit inconsistent. You can see it's a little bit bigger on this side than on the other. Now, that's a cosmetic detail. In practice, this does not seem to affect the performance of the cleaver. There's just one issue that I've noticed, and this isn't with all cleavers. I have 2 of these. And the second one has the handle a little bit loose. The rivets are not tight enough on those. And that might happen with a few of them. It probably won't happen to you, but if it does, it's something to be aware of. This cleaver costs just over $5, which is an amazing price. Like I said, I've been using it for 2 or 3 years, and it is holding up very well. Comparable items, you're looking at 2 to 3 times the price. This cleaver, just $5, and that's an impressive item, and I have not been light on it. I have used it a lot, and it's holding up very well. To sum things up, this is an amazing cleaver. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I've been using it to chop through lamb bones. I've been using it to chop through turkey bones. I expect I'll get many more years of service out of it. I hope this review was helpful. If you have questions, please let me know, and I will do my best to answer them.